Everyone, you're with Lucy from Artshed Angel and Lucy's Craft Cafe, and I'm so happy to have you in my studio again. Today I want to show you how to make a little book using some little tiny canvases that you can buy, some modelling paste, and doing some beautiful things with metallics. So if you like my videos, please make sure that you do subscribe and click that button. And then also, if you'd like to join my group with Jolene Payne, which is live art journaling and self-development, the link is below. So thank you very much, and let's get started. So what I have here is a little book that I've already made some holes and things in, but I will show you how to do that. Now I have already put the paste on this so that we can get started, but I just wanted to show you how to put modelling paste on to start off with. And I'm using a coloured piece of canvas, which can look really effective as well. So I have bought, for this process, I have bought little canvases that are really quite useful for making book covers, and we're going to put a bit of a lining on the inside of that as well. They're very affordable, and I'm going to use some modelling paste, and with the modelling paste you just need to have a palette knife, and what I'm going to do is take a chunk of modelling paste. You can actually use some tape to hold this down if you really want to. Just use a bit of washi tape I have here on my bench. So I'm just putting this down so that I end up with the paste where I want it to be. So all you need to do is put your paste down and then go across the page. So you don't want this lifting while you're putting this across. And you're just going to scrape closely . Like this. So I'm not going to do it over the whole stencil. I tend to go a bit backwards and forwards to make sure that I have it where I want it to be. Sorry. I'm just going to put a little bit more here. So make sure that you use your palette knife at an angle so that you're not squishing it underneath the numbers, or whatever it is that you're using. This works with lots of different stencils, and I love it. If you see that you've rubbed a bit away, and just before I finish, I'm not trying to get a really smooth effect, especially when I'm using an image like that. And what I'm going to do now is pull it back up, and you can see that I have that stenciled on there. So that will then dry. It will take a little bit of time for drying, so I try not to force dry this because you can bubble it up. I just put it out in the sun for a little while, or if you're somewhere where you have radiators, you can put it over your radiator or a heater for a little while in a safe spot. So I have my little book all prepared. I did this earlier so that I wouldn't hold you up watching too long, but I have made my pages with my Gelli plates. So these are pages that I did some practice Gelli plates that I keep, and I've just cut them to size. So these little squares are 10 by 10, I think, centimeters, and I have done my little Gelli plates 9.5 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. Now I have these little clips here, which are really, really great. I got them on eBay actually, and I have made my holes into the cardboard with my crocodile, and that's really great for making holes through quite thick things. And also you can put grommets and things like that in as well. So I'm going to pull it apart because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint it. So this part of it here, there is actually a video on my site on how to do Gelli plate prints, and it's lots of fun, and I will be doing another video very soon. Now I had some of these canvases and I was wondering what I was going to do with them. So this one here, already I started painting something on it which I didn't like. So to paint this, I am using Dylusions Paint, which is Pomegranate seed, which is a really, really pretty colour, and it looks fantastic on this, and it also shows a kind of a pinky colour where the raised parts are. So it's the Dylusions paint that I'm using here. So the next thing I'm going to do is make sure this is dry, and then I'm going to also add another colour. So you can see there when I hold it, the texture shows up so beautifully when you start to get that depth. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some blue, and this is After Midnight, which is also a Dylusions colour. Now because it's quite transparent, it's showing the maroon through, or the pomegranate through, and I want that. I want it to actually have kind of darkish areas. So wipe it away if you get too much on it, if it gets too blue, and you can see that it's a really nice effect that you get, making sort of, it gives you a basis for the colours that we're going to put over the top and the metallics we're going to put over the top. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Robinson & Co. copper, and I'm going to rub this on. Now it's really important that you use your finger very, very flat. So I'm putting some paint on my Tim Holtz mat. That's why I love using this glass mat. And I'm going to really lightly rub this on. Now that's the important thing here, is the lightly rubbing on of this. If you press too hard, you're going to push it all in the grooves. So you want to just put it really lightly and all over the image. Or you could leave some areas clear too if you like. But you'll see when I move it around that the copper is now in certain areas, and it looks really spectacular. So I'm going to use some gold on this as well, but I'm going to use the base colour as copper. Okay, so just put it on both, and this is going to show up the lovely Tim Holtz stencil, which is kind of a steampunky looking stencil. So just make sure you just put little amounts down. You don't want to put a huge amount down. The next thing I'm going to do is just close my lid on my copper first. I'm actually going to use some Dirty Martini, which is a green Dylusions paint, and I'm going to mix a little bit of this into the copper so that I can get a bit of a verdigris effect. So I'm just putting a little bit and mixing it in on my glass mat. And this will give like a dirty green, and I'm only going to put it in certain sections, and it actually is very, very effective, especially with the copper within it. You can see there it adds a whole other level, and I love to use colours together to create depth, and I feel that the more different sort of colours that you use, you can create really unique depth to your work. So I'm also going to add some embellishments to this one here, and I'm just deciding, I don't think I need the heart, and I'm also going to use the wings. And I want to put these embellishments on, but I don't actually like this silver colour, so I'm going to take them and paint them. So it's perfectly fine to paint embellishments in this case. You can actually spray them with a bit of sealer if you want, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's not something that's going to be terribly damaged. And I'm just painting it here with the copper. Now I do love this Robinson acrylics, the metallics. And here I don't want that little hook thing on the wings, so I'm just using pliers to cut them off. Now to finish off, before I put all this on, I'm just using a little bit of gold and doing the same technique that I did before, making sure that I dry it all off before I start to stick things on. And I'm also going to put a tiny little bit of that pomegranate over the top of the copper. And I'm going to use my gold here. I have some lovely lace, and I'm using my gold to paint that lace gold because I don't want it to be just white. And that's now going to go over the top. And I'm going to stick my embellishments on this. Now I'm just using a craft glue. And you can see I'm sticking it. I'm using the craft glue to stick these things on. You could use E6000, which is a really great glue. And you can see here I'm just sticking them kind of randomly. I don't want those wings to be perfectly in line. And I'm adding those little leaves as well just near there. And I'm going to use the gold now, and you can see I'm just rubbing the gold lightly again with a flat finger to give a little bit of more depth to it. So when we add more layers, we get more depth. So the inside of my little canvas, I'm going to stick one of those pages on. So I've just decided I want to add a few more little beads here, so I'm just sticking some little purple beads because we've got all those colours in the actual background, and it's really nice to do that, use colours that are within the background as well. And I'm going to now put it together. I have put an insert in the front of it, putting my beautiful pages on, putting it together. So if you loved my video, and please make sure that you subscribe to me, and also join me at live art journaling and self-development. Thanks very much, everyone. This is such a fun project. You're with Lucy. Thank you.